can't I see the chat? Oh, come on. Sorry, guys. Give me just 1 second. For some reason, I'm not able to see my chat. And I was told that my camera is not available. My camera is not available for TikTok. My camera's not available. Oops, sorry, let me turn this down. There we go. Okay, maybe can I see the chat here? Nope, it won't let me see the chat. What is going on? Okay, I see that 6 people are here, but it won't let me see the chat. Okay, we are going to have to roll with it because I don't know what else to do. Okay, we're going to roll with it. We're going to roll with it. So I apologize. Let me move this out of the way, y'all. I have a pounding headache, so I apologize. Let's get started. Happy Saturday, everybody, and I'm sorry that I can't see the chat messages. So we're gonna have to roll with it. We're gonna have to roll with it. Okay, so I have already uploaded videos for some of the elements for the book. I tried to upload a third, and for some reason I kept getting an error, so we'll work on that for the pop-ups and stuff. Anyway, so you guys got different elements in your bags, and they were labeled. So what we are going to work on for this is I did the videos. They're already posted for the clown and for the pull-out card. So all of your packages were labeled, but I did the videos for these. I will post the rest of the videos. Sorry, guys. I will post the rest of the videos for the other packets later today. But anyway, but these two are done. So we are going to start with, and I apologize, like I said, I cannot see chat, y'all. I don't know why, so we're just going to roll with it. But what we are going to find is you're going to look for your packet called Cover Supplies. Everything that's in this packet is what you're going to need for that. So go ahead and gather that material because that's what we're going to work on first. All right. Okay, so let me get this opened. And again, I apologize. TikTok was giving me issues. I couldn't get the live to work. It was telling me my camera wasn't available. So we are on YouTube today. And now I can't see my chat. So it is what it is. So I'm just going to roll with it. Okay, so this green bag that contains your material for the spine of the book, and then the pins here, we're going to set this off to the side because we're not going to need this right at the moment. So everybody got the same exact thing in their kits. So you have a sheet of paper with circles, And on the back, this is our spine. This is where we are going to punch our holes. So I gave you guys each a template. It's on the back side of the dotted paper because this is what's going to be sticking out. I printed the template on the back side. So as you can see, there are 5 signatures. Anyway, we need those 5 signatures because some of these spaces we're not going to use because of the thickness of some of the effects that we're going to be doing. But this will be our cutout for our spine. And again, this is our template for where we are going to punch our holes in the center of our signatures. But right now we're going to sit this to the side because we're not going to do this yet. So the paper with the circles and the template on the back sit to the side. Okay, so this we are going to use, we are going to be cutting out these curtains, but we're not going to do that yet. What we are going to start with is our wheels. You got 2 sheets of wheels. We are going to cut these out, and I did not do this ahead of time because I wanted to do it with you guys. So let me get comfy here. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to cut out our wheels. Happy Saturday, everybody. And again, I'm sorry I can't see the chat. And I was having issues with TikTok. I don't know why I can't go live. I don't have a restriction or anything, but it was telling me I can't use my camera because my camera is being accessed by something else. So we're just going to roll with it. Okay, let me grab my mat so that I can put this on the mat. All right. Oops. All right, there we go. Okay, let me drop you guys down a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I am going to cut along the outside edge of my wheels. I know it's quiet, y'all. I apologize. Okay, there's one. It feels weird not chatting with you guys. Like I said, I can't see messages, so I apologize. I don't know what is going on with the chat because I can't see it. I don't know. Like I said, I was having issues getting logged in with TikTok and going live. So we're just gonna stay with the YouTubers. Okay. Get a little ASMR going on. Okay. There's our third. Okay, and that is our fourth. All right, so I need, where is my utility knife? Okay, so for two of the wheels, I am going to cut out the white spacing between the spokes. I just got this at the dollar store. It is utility knife, X-Acto knife. I find it a little bit more sturdy because I can, when it gets dull, I can just break off the tip and get a new, and it has a new tip already attached. But I'm going to go ahead and cut out the white areas between my spokes on two of the wheels, because these are the wheels that are going to be on the outside part of the cover where you're going to visibly see. And just go slow. Okay. I apologize, guys, for those of you that are coming in. I was having an issue getting on TikTok, so I had to go live just on YouTube. So I apologize, and I cannot see the chat. For some reason, everything is giving me problems today. I woke up with a headache. Oh, God. So we're just rolling with it, y'all. And okay, so for those of you that are coming in, we are working on the packet that says book cover. And we are cutting out the wheels for the cover of our book first. We're only gonna cut out two of the wagon wheels because these are the ones that are going to be seen. You should have got 2 sheets of wheels. But TikTok was giving me issues, telling me that I didn't have access to my camera, yada, yada, yada. So in order to resolve it, I just came live on YouTube, y'all. So I apologize. Okay. So I'm sorry that I can't see the comments. Okay. I love using a utility knife for these kinds of things because I have more control over it. And again, we are working on the cover packet. These are the wheels for the cover. Sorry if you guys are hearing my neighbor outside. My windows are open. It is beautiful outside. I would play music, but I'm afraid that you guys won't be able to hear me talk because I don't know. I can't look at I can't see myself. I could probably I could play music from my tablet. I didn't even think about that. I could do that. I don't know why I didn't think of that to begin with. That way there it's not quiet. Okay. Pandora. There we go. There we go. Let me turn it down a little bit. There we go. All right. So again, those of you that are coming in, I was having issues getting into TikTok today. So I had to go live on YouTube and I don't have access to chat. YouTube is giving me an issue. So we are working on the wheels for the cover, and these wheels can be found in your packet that say cover. And we are cutting out all 4 wheels, but only 2 of them we are actually cutting out the white spaces in the spokes. This video will be available after my live ends so that you can go back and watch it at a later time. It will be uploaded to YouTube once the live ends. So if you don't have time to stay and do the whole thing together, not a big deal. You can come back and watch it at your own pace later on. If y'all can give me a thumbs up, like the video, so that I know that y'all can see and hear me okay. Because like I said, I don't have access to the chat. I don't know what is going on. So a thumbs up is like the video. I see 1 person liked it so far. And I see there are 11 people in here. Yay, thank you guys. I appreciate it. And again, I'm sorry about the YouTube and not being able to go live on TikTok. I don't know what the issue is today, but welcome. Thank you for the likes. So I was like, you know what? Instead of being upset about not being able to get on TikTok live, I am just going to roll with it. And we're going to do this. because I'm very excited for this book. And like I said, I already did post some videos of some of the packets. I will be working on the rest of those videos today for like the slider and the box pop-ups and some of the flip outs that we're going to be doing, because we won't be able to do it all during one live. They are separate elements, so I'll be doing a video for each of those. Like I said, I already did the clown and we did the slide out pocket. Okay, so now that I got all of the white out, now I can grunge up. Sorry, y'all. Oh, where is it? Where's my little... Lord have mercy. Where's my container? Okay, what did I do with my container? Oh, for the love of baby Jesus. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna have to roll with that too. Let me grab my little thing. I want to distress those. So let me grab a brush. Ugh. There we go. Okay. Let me grab a scrap piece of paper. Okay, so I want to distress these a little bit. Where is my black soot? There we are. Okay, so I'm using black soot. I just want to get the white on the edges. So I'm just gonna go around the middles just to get rid of some of that white from cutting this out. Thank you guys. I appreciate your patience. Like I said, I was having issues with TikTok Live. I tried for like 30 minutes. I don't know what's going on with TikTok. I tried doing an update and it wasn't working. So I don't know what's going on. Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. Let me set this off to the side and let's do the next one. And like I said, you're only going to be cutting out the white centers of 2 of the wheels. You don't have to do all 4. We can just grunge these up because these are not going to be as visible as the 2 that we are doing for the exterior. So we're going to go ahead and cut out the next one. Hi guys, welcome in. I'm sorry, I was having an issue with TikTok. It wouldn't let me go live. So I had to go live on YouTube. I don't have chat available. I don't know why. So I apologize. We are working on the wheels for the cover of the book, which can be found in your packet that is labeled book cover, the book cover. I believe that's what it's called. It had the red polka dotted page on the exterior. Yes, cover supplies, and it had this page on the outside. So there are 2 sheets with wagon wheels. Oops. 2 sheets with wagon wheels. And we're cutting out the 2 of the wheels spokes. For the cover. I did not do any of this ahead of time. I did not have time. So we are going to do it together because I'm sure some of you did not as well.
To remind you that 60% of sales on Amazon come from independent sellers, here's Tracy from Lily's of Charleston.
Hi, y'all. We make barbecue
All right.
and specialty popcorn.
They get help from Amazon to grow their small business faster.
They handle all our shipping and logistics, which is a big help.
I'm just using a dollar store utility knife
Stuff, Tracy.
that has the break off tips to cut this out. I've tried an X-Acto knife and I feel like I don't have as much control. But I do with this, so. I know people are probably looking for me on TikTok and they're not finding me on. Some people are probably not sure that I'll be live on YouTube, but we are here. We are here. But happy Saturday, everybody. It's almost the first of the month. And the reason why we're doing this for 2 of the wheels, because the other 2 are not going to be seen as much. These are the ones that are going to be the exterior of the book. So these are going to be visible. So we are going to, we're going to make them look like you would see on a caravan. The old time caravans. All right. There you go. Oops. And they don't have to be, exact where you get all the white off. Like I said, you can use your inker to cover up that white and distress it. There you go. Almost done. One more. Did I already do that? Yeah, I guess I did. Okay. So there is my second wheel. Okay, so I am going to put this on my paper, and I'm going to take my brush, and I'm just going to make sure that I get all those little white in the middle between the spokes. Good song. Sorry for the notifications, y'all. Whoops. Okay. There is the second wheel. And then I'm going to go ahead and grunge these up a little bit. You can use browns and blacks. I'm slipping away. Keep on slipping away. Hi guys, welcome in. I'm sorry I couldn't get live on you or on TikTok. It was giving me problems telling me that my camera wasn't available. I don't know what's going on, and I don't have access to chat on YouTube. So it's been a morning, y'all. It's been a morning. We are working on the cover. For those of you that are just coming in, we are working on the cover packet. The envelope that says cover supplies. And we are cutting out the wheels and grunging them up for the cover. 2 of the wheels, we cut out the whites in the spokes and we grunge those up. Now we are just going to grunge up the other 2 wheels because these are not going to be visible on the cover. They are the underneath side, so you're not going to see them as well. So we are just grunging them up so that they're not stark white. Slipping away. And you can do this or you can cut them out. That's completely up to you. It's just the back ones are not going to be seen. Okay, so let me grab my brown. Let me grab, I'll use the rusty hinge, I think. I'm going to mix them up. Let me grab my other brush. Okay. All right, rusty hinge. Give a little bit of zhuzh. Go. Beautiful. Okay. All right, so let me put my scrap. Okay, guys. All right, so we have our 2 wheels there, 2 wheels here. You are going to grab out of that pocket for the cover, you're going to grab a sheet of vellum. Sorry, let me open my water, y'all. And again, I apologize. I can't see the chat, y'all. I don't know what is going on with TikTok and YouTube today, but I'm having issues. So instead of being upset about it, we are just rolling with it. Okay, so we got our 2 wheels. Those are going to be on the inside. And we're going to take our 2 wheels for the exterior of the book. And we are going to glue those down to the vellum. So we're going to glue this part here, and we're going to glue them down to the vellum. Okay. I am going to use my precision craft glue for this. Because it'll dry a little bit quicker, but you can use whatever glue that you have. It will dry clear. And that's what we're going for, is a grungy look. So you use what you got. You don't have to use what I have, but if you're using Elmer's glue, make sure that it's watered down a little bit. I'm just gonna glue all the spokes. Okay, and then go around the outside. Okay. And then I am gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put that on my vellum. Get as close to the edge as you can. And lay that down. Okay. And then I'm going to do the next one. And I apologize, y'all. I know this is a little unorthodox compared to what we normally do. But like I said, I was having issues with going live on TikTok. It said my camera wasn't available. So I had to come live on YouTube. But unfortunately, I can't see the chat. I don't know why. I don't even know if it's available because I'm not seeing it. But the video, this live, will be uploaded to YouTube when I'm done, so that if you fall behind, I'll go as slow as I possibly can, so that everybody kind of stays together. But if you feel like you're getting too far behind, it will save it and post it after the live ends. And I know I much rather be chatting with you guys than doing it this way. And that's the truth. So I'd rather talk to you guys. And I know that's why most of us like doing these together, is because we like chit-chatting. Okay, get everything glued down. Okay, so these are glued down. Now what I want to do is I want to cut these out around the outside. We are leaving the vellum in the spokes of the wheels. We are just going to cut around just the outer part of the circle. Okay, there's one. Okay, and there's two. So I do save my scraps of vellum. I'll throw the small pieces away. And I will set this to the side, and I'll probably use that in as one of the pages in the book later. All right, so we have our two wheels that are glued to vellum. And then we have our two wheels that we grunged up. They're going to be on the back side. So we're going to set these to the side for just a second. And inside that package for the cover, we have a sheet of cardboard. We're going to be using the cardboard, and then we have two sheets of chipboard. The chipboard we're going to set to the side, and the other papers we're going to set to the side. We are just going to use the piece of cardboard. Okay, the cardboard is easier to cut. So what we're going to do is we are going to take our wheels that we've just put the vellum on, and we are going to glue those to the cardboard. I am going to use my Beacon 3-in-1 because I like the way it looks. It's very, like, when it dries, it looks kind of glassy with the vellum. So we are just going to glue this. And again, if you're using a white glue that dries clear, that's fine too. Use whatever you have. Oh, Mr. Swims. Okay, so when I lay it down on my cardboard, do you see how you get that texture on the vellum from the glue? That's okay, because what we're going to do is we're going to take something flat, whether it be a bone folder or something else, and we're going to rub that and push that glue around. Push that glue around. So you're going to get that type of effect. So you're still going to get some air bubbles, right? And that's okay. We want that because we want it to be grungy looking. So push that glue around. Push that glue around, get it moving. Because I'll show you what it looks like once it dries. So once it dries, you're going to get those little pockets of bubbles, and it looks very grungy, and that is the look that we're going for. Okay, so that's why I said, use something flat, push, if you have air bubbles, that's okay. We want those air bubbles, but just push that glue around, y'all. And if I don't have enough, I can lift this up. I can add a little bit more glue. So I'm getting that grungy look. There we go. Easy. There we go. That was the trick. But we want that. We want those air bubbles. We want that grungy look. There we go. Okay, see, so when it dries, you're gonna get all that little crackling. Okay, and then we're gonna do the next one. Okay, I'll lay that one down. Ooh, look at that. Look at that yumminess. Love it. And again, work that glue around. And it is okay to have the air bubbles. It creates a really cool effect. You lift this up, that back down. There we go. Okay, so now both my wheels are glued down. All right, let me put my lid on here. Okay, so now that we got 2 of the wheels glued down, let me get this glue off my fingers. And happy Saturday, y'all. Oh, by the way, my husband's in the backyard working, y'all. Look, he's putting stones in for me. I wanted the patio bigger, so he's putting in stones. Yay, Blanda. He's doing a good job. All right. Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do is the wheels, we are going to cut these out with the utility knife instead of the scissors, because when you cut them out with the scissors, you might bend it, or an X-Acto knife. You might bend the cardboard. So I'm just going to go ahead and go around the outside. If you want to use scissors, go ahead. Just try to be very careful not to bend the cardboard. If you want to use chipboard for this, that's fine. You don't have to use the cardboard. You can use chipboard instead, but I chose cardboard, and it holds up perfectly fine because we're backing it. I did not have any issues with it. Easy peasy.
Some patients are told they've run out of options, that they'll never move the same way again, but their condition is untreatable. At the Institute for Advanced Reconstruction.
And if you're not precise, it's okay because we're still gonna trim it out with scissors. Okay, so there's my one wheel. All right. What did I just knock off the tape? I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and because I missed a couple of pieces, just gonna trim that up a little bit, clean it up. So it's so much easier. There we go. Okay, so there's my wheel. And again, okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another wheel and I'm going to glue it to the back side. And that the wheel that we did not cut anything out of. So we have the vellum on the one side. And then we have the one we did not cut out on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and glue my cardboard and put my wheels together so they have time to dry before we attach them to the cover. Work that glue. Okay. And there is our one wheel. And then I could set this to the side and let that dry. And now I can cut out the other side. Don't worry about me. Okay, and I can throw this piece away, or you can use it for something else in the book as a little element. You can wet it, let it soak for a little bit on one side, and peel off the top paper to create that crunchy look so that you have the ripple. I've done that too. I save everything except the small pieces. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and clean up my edges before I glue the back on to make sure that I am close. Okay, that's perfect. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my other wheel that we did not cut the centers out, and I am going to glue that to the back side of this. So then both of our wheels will be done. Okay. Just pushing that glue around. And your wheels are not going to match up, y'all, because they're the same exact photo for all sides. So they are not, you're still gonna, we can grunge that up, you can cut it off, whatever, but they are not going to match perfectly. But I'm just gonna grunge mine up then. I just want to make sure there's no white sticking out. Because like I said, we can grunge everything else up. So I'm just going to clean up my wheels. See how I have a little bit of white sticking up? I can just trim that off. It's not a big deal. Okay, everything else looks good. Perfect. Okay. Close that up. My scissors. So I want to take, I want to grunge up the edges. I have no idea what happened to it's my little finger thing, but I'm just going to take my pad, run along the outside edges. There we go. Okay, do the other one. And again, the color I'm using is black soot. There we go. My edges are done. Okay, so I am gonna, again, that is the side we did not cut out, and that's the side with the vellum, and we are gonna set these to the side. We're gonna let those dry. They're very firm, y'all. I promise you, they will hold up with the cardboard. Now that they've been glued on both sides, it actually does make them nice and hard, so they're not gonna be flimsy at all. But we're gonna let these dry. We're gonna set those to the side. Okay. So from that same packet for the cover materials, you're going to get your paper that has the curtains. And what we're going to do is we are going to cut out some of these curtains because we're going to use them for the cover of our book. We are going to, like this, we're going to cut them out so that we can paste them onto our book later. This is one that I did as a test where I designed what I wanted the book cover to look like, but I ended up changing the papers because I wasn't liking, this didn't look circusy to me enough. So I changed the papers. But anyway, so we're going to cut out the curtains. And first what we're going to do, where is my scissors? There they are. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out as one big piece. I'm going to cut out all of this. Okay, So I'm going to cut out just the top part and around. We're not going to cut these out because we have to measure the window then. So I just want to cut the curtains. You can keep the points. You can take the points off. I like the points, so I'm saving the points on the bottoms of the curtains. But it is your book. You do with it as you so wish. But I am saving the points for mine. I'm going to go ahead and cut this down so it's easier for me to handle. I hate handling such a big piece of paper. Okay, so there is my curtains for the exterior of the wagon. So we're going to set that to the side. I am also going to cut out these little swags that are like the bottoms of the drapes. I'm going to cut from this cross thing here, the tie back. And I am going to cut up past the tie back. So I am going to cut this out so that I get that tie back. There we go. And then I'm going to do the other side as well. Because I want to get above that tie back. Okay. I also want to use this on the cover of my wagon, so I'm going to cut this out. And after we cut them out, we can go ahead and zhuzh them up and grunge them. Sorry for the notifications, y'all. Okay. Let's see. Is there anything else in this elements that I want to use? No, but I'm going to set this to the side because I may use some of this for the inside of my book. Once I start going through everything and putting my pages together, I may use this as some ephemera. So I'm going to set this off to the side because I may use that later. So what we cut out was the curtains. Again, this is if you want to, this is what I'm doing. I saved that and the little tie backs from the curtains. And we're going to go ahead and grunge that up. Where, I don't see my, oh, let me grab a finger thing. Hold on, y'all. Oh, baby Jesus. Okay. Got my little finger things. Oops. And I'm going to go ahead and grunge up the edges. Again, if you don't have ink, it's okay. Use, you can use a marker. I'm not going to do the blue curtain part of it until I get my pieces cut, and what pieces of it I want to use. But these smaller elements, I am going to go ahead and grunge up. Okay, and this I'm going to save to grunge up after I get my pieces cut. Okay, so again, we cut out the curtain, we cut out the little round piece and the two tie backs, and we're going to set these to the side. And then what we're going to need next is we're going to need one piece of chipboard, okay? And we are going to need one piece of paper. So we are going to go ahead and we're going to glue this together as a whole piece. And again, you'll find everything in your cover packet. Rub your hand across that. Make sure you got good contact. This is going to be the back of our wagon. Get any of that excess glue. Make sure everything is lined up. Perfect. And again, I just want to make sure I got some good contact. Okay. All right, so we just glued a piece of the striped paper to a piece of chipboard, and we're going to grab the next piece of paper and the other piece of chipboard. Oops. Okay. Okay, so we're not going to glue these together yet. So my thought process, let me raise you guys up a little bit. My thought process for this was to make it look more like a caravan than a square box. So, let me show you what I mean. Let me take the wheels off. Wheels off the bus. Okay, so do you see how I have, curved edges at the top and a curved edge in the front, and I have like a little bumper here? So my thought was to make it look as much like an old caravan as possible. So I just found something that I had laying around that was rounded. Okay, you can use a jar, whatever. You can, whatever you have that's nearby that it has a rounded, it doesn't have to be, tremendously huge, a cup. Like I can take my water container that I'm currently drinking out of. I can use that to draw a curved edge, just to round off the corners. So use whatever you have laying around. It doesn't matter the size. It's all gonna come out the same. Okay, I promise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my modeling paste tube, container. I'm going to flip my paper over, and so I want a bumper for my caravan. Okay, so that is, where's my ruler? Here it is. That is what? A 1/2 inch. So I am just going to hand draw. I know that it's a 1/2 inch. Okay. I'm actually going to do this on the chipboard, not on the paper. So, because once I cut the chipboard, the paper, I can glue it down and trim the paper afterwards. Okay, so I am going to take the width of my ruler. Here, let me move you guys down. Sorry. So I'm going to use the width of my ruler as my bumper. So I will take and lay my ruler down flat. I'm just going to use a permanent marker, and I'm going to mark it a 1/2 inch. Okay. And then I'm going to lay my jar that I want my curve. I'm going to draw up from here, make my little L. That'll be my bumper. And I am just going to draw up. And it doesn't have to be straight, y'all. This is called art. Okay, so I want that rounded corner. Okay, I'm not sure who keeps WhatsApping me, but I can't answer. And I am going to just draw around the outside to get that curved side. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other corner. I'm just going to draw around and get that curved. And the same thing in the front. If you guys have circle cutters, great. I do not. I don't, because I don't use it often enough to justify spending the money. Okay, when I have things around the house that work perfectly fine. Okay, so let me put you guys back up so you can see the overall look. Okay, so here's my bumper. And then what I want to do, because a caravan has a dip in the center, so I could probably come up a little bit higher with this. And I'm just going to draw down a little bit and then go back up. So I have a little bit of a dip. So even though I drew that corner, not a big deal because I haven't cut anything yet. So I want it to look like an antique caravan. That was my goal. Okay. That's the vision I had in my head. So this one has a little bit of a dip as well. So you can see with that when we put the muslin on as the roof, it looks like an old caravan because it kind of sags in the middle, but it looks that way from the outside, not from the inside, because remember, we have the template for the actual spine. But anyway, this is the look that I'm going for, okay? So I just hand drew this again. I just used the width of my ruler, and I did 1/2 an inch, marked a line so that I have my little bumper, because on all caravans they have a bumper. And why do they have a bumper? Because they're being pulled either by carriages or by whatever horses, but they always have the bumper because they have the hitch. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, now that I have this hand drawn out, and there's no exact measurements, y'all, we're just going with it. Okay, we're just going with it. This is a piece of art. It's called art for a reason. Let me raise you guys up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my utility knife, and I am going to go ahead and round out my corners. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, y'all. We are human beings. This is called art. We wanted something unique. We wanted something fun. And that is what we're doing. We are not norm. We are not part of the norm. I promise you, the effects will be worth it. Okay. You got to trust the process. Trust the process. Okay. Okay, so now that we have our exterior cut out, now what we need is we need a window. So the window that I have cut out, okay, where's my ruler? So 5 inches by 3 inch window. So a 5 inch by 3 inch. Okay, so 5 inch by 3 inch. So we want to go down. I want to leave a space at the top. And again, there are no measurements for this, y'all. I just designed this on a live a few weeks ago, or what, a month ago, I guess, with y'all before I put the video or the thing out to do this is when I designed this cover. So this is me. But if you want to be precise, get your ruler, find the middle. I'm on my mat, so I can see that. Let's see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So where my ruler is right now is about where the middle is. Okay. So I want to leave enough room at the top for my canvas, which is the muslin. Okay. So I'm going to come down 1 inch from the top where I did my little swoop. And I'm going to mark on both sides 1 inch down from the top. Okay. So I need a 5 inches. Let's see. So 2.5, 2 inches on this side. 2 inches from this dot. And that'll give me my 5 inches. So what I did was I found my center. This ruler is almost a full inch thick. So I put that in the middle. I just put a dot at 1 inch on both sides. Let me drop you down so you can see where I'm going. Because I need a total of 5 inches. Okay, for my width of my window. So my ruler is not quite a full inch thick. So I come down from the top of my caravan. I came down 1 inch and I marked a dot on either side so that I know that, okay, and then I need 2 inches from that outside dot. And I marked another dot 2 inches that way. Okay, and then I came to this dot, marked again another dot 2 inches to the outside. So that gives me the total of 5 inches that I need. So if I draw a line across, okay, I got a total of 5 inches. See? So I have a total of 5 inches. That's what I need. So now what I need to do is I need to go 3 inches down from this line. So I'm again put my ruler there. And then 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to mark my 3 inches on either side. Okay. So from this dot to this dot, it's 3 inches. Okay, I made it a little bit longer. We'll go here instead. 3 inches. Okay. So now I have a space of 3 inches between this line and where I'm going to make this line. So I know that I need to come down 3 inches from this dot. I'm going to make a dot. This one, a dot. So now I have all 4 of my dots. I can make a line across. And again, it totals 5 inches. So 5 inches by 3 inches. It doesn't have to be perfect, y'all. Again, this is art. So this is 3 inches. and this is 5 inches. Okay, so 3-inch by 5-inch square. Again, it doesn't have to be in the center. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is art. You do as you choose to do, whatever makes you feel comfortable. I know some people, need to have exact numbers and measurements. I just came down an inch from the top of the center of my caravan. I came down an inch. That's how I came up with the dot, with the top from the top. Okay. Again, you're covering, so it is going to be covered with curtains. These aren't the curtains or the paper we're using, but this is giving you an example. This is the back side, which will get covered with paper. But you see what I'm saying? So 3-inch by 5-inch box on here for your window. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut out. I'm going to use my utility knife. I'm going to go ahead and cut out my window.
Small family business, 3 farm daughters in North Dakota isn't easy. We need a lot of help from Amazon. They don't make our homegrown pastas, but they do handle all of our shipping and logistics, which makes a big difference.
Learn more about how Amazon supports small businesses at aboutamazon.com.
Okay. Okay. So now what I can do is I can clean up those edges with my scissors to catch all those little hanging pieces. All right, let me clean up my desk here. Okay, so we have our window cut. So now let me take a drink, y'all. All right, so now that we have this all cut out, let me zoom out here so you guys can see better. Okay, so now that I have that cut out, now I can take my paper. Oh, where did I put it? There it is. Now I can take, now that I have that all cut out, I can take my striped paper and I can glue that to this. So go ahead and glue up your cover. Sorry, you guys are hearing the kids outside playing, the neighbors' kids. I do have the windows open, y'all. I probably shouldn't because my sinuses and my headache, but I could feel the breeze. It's nice out today. Okay. So again, I'm going to take my paper. Lay that down. Sure we have contact. Okay, I gotta slide that down a little bit. There we go. Make sure that we are connected. Wet glue. Just gonna make sure we got contact all the way around. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we can go ahead and cut off anything white on the outside and the middle of the window. So we can again use your utility knife, your X-Acto knife, scissors, whatever. I am going to use the utility knife, and I'm just going to cut that out. Okay, well, I guess I'm using my scissors. I gotta break the bit off of the X-Acto knife. Actually, I think I'm gonna do that instead. Where's my little pliers? Oh, there they are. That's why I love these utility knives, because you can break off that little piece and get a brand new sharp blade. My blade was a little dull because I use this thing so often for projects like this, cutting through paper or chipboard, cardboard, you name it. There we go. Well, that sucker's sharp, boy. It's cutting up that chipboard like there's nobody's business.
People with the Wells Fargo Active Cash credit card prefer to pay because they earn unlimited 2% cash back on purchases.
Okay, rock, paper, scissors for it. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
The Wells Fargo
Okay.
Active Cash credit card. Visit wellsfargo.com.
Here we go.
/activecash. Terms apply.
All right, so let me clear off my desk. Okay, so there is our cover. And we can go ahead and grunge this up as you so see fit. So what I'm going to do is I am going to use my black soot. And I am going to grunge up the window. You can grunge it up however you so choose. If you want a heavy grunge, do a heavy grunge. If you want something light, then do it light. I want a little bit heavier around the window. Okay. Make sure that I got my chipboard. So I'm going to grunge the edge of the chipboard. Okay, so there we go. So I grunged up all around the outside of my window. I'm not going to grunge up anything else yet because there's other elements that need to be added to the page or to the cover before I go ahead and grunge up the edges. So I am going to wait to do that part. Okay, so let me zoom y'all back in so we can work on the curtains. Okay, so we cut out our curtains earlier. We cut out our little tie backs and we cut out our thing of curtains as well as our little red circle. So I want to see where this is going to fit, which side I want to use, or if I want to use it in the middle like this. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this side. I think I'm going to use this side. So I went to the white line here on my paper. So from line to line. So I'm going to go ahead and cut here. And again, this is all artistic. Y'all do what you need to do. Y'all know that I'm unconventional. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and grunge up my curtain. I am not normal. I know some people are having a panic attack. And that is okay. That's how you do things. My brain doesn't work that way, so that's why I'm saying you do you, boo-boo. Whatever you feel comfortable with. I like to just go with the process. Okay, so I grunge that up. And let me just lay this down before I glue it. And then I have my tie backs that I cut out earlier. So I can lay those down. So I can see where I want to sit those and which side do there they go this way. Which side I want to put them. Okay, let's go with that. So let me glue these down. Okay, and then the other side. And again, you cover your window however you so choose. There's no right or wrong. That's why it's called art. Our brains work differently.
This is the off-road unlocked. From our U.S. factories to your driveway. Find your path with the Nissan Pathfinder. Now with a lower price. Available features. Intelligent four-wheel drive will not prevent collisions and provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
Okay. A lot of Teddy swims. He must be coming to the area. Usually they don't play him that much on this channel. Get all that extra glue off. Glue boogies. Okay. So I want to use some more pieces of this curtain. So I'm going to cut this. And again, you can do however you so choose to decorate the curtain. Okay, let me get rid of the point. Let me cut this other piece. Let me grunge this up. Let me round that corner. And again, you decorate your curtain however you so choose. That is the basic. I want to do something a little bit more. I think I want to layer that.
I woke up to the morning sky first. Baby blue, just like we did first. When I get up off this ground, I should leave back down. Brown, 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 till I'm green.
Oops. Thing stuck to my finger. And again, I'm just using the scraps that I have, and I'm just playing with them, and I'm layering them. Oops, I need to grunge it. So there is no right or wrong. Okay. Oops. Okay. Okay, so I just mixed it up, put whatever the little scraps. So I layered my curtains. That's all I did. I just layered the pieces of scraps that I used. Okay. And then I have this. and actually what I want to do is I want to cut off the red. But again, this is art. You guys do what you want. I'm going to cut those reds off and use it somewhere else on the cover. I'm just going to use the circle. Okay. Let's see where I want to put these. Yeah, put them right here. A little too much glue. Okay, let me clean my fingers off so I can clean off that excess glue. This is for those of you that don't know what this is an adhesive eraser. I got it off of, I got it actually from Michael's. I gotta let this dry a little bit here. I got it from Michael's. It's just a rubber square that doesn't rip your paper, but it does grab the adhesive off the paper without having to use any chemicals. You just can't scrub, you know? And it doesn't leave a shiny residue on your paper, which is another reason why I love using it. If I can't get it while it's still wet. Because I'm sloppy with my glue. I'm not stingy with the glue, that's for sure. Okay. So there is my version of my window.
In 2021, York
And
faced
again, you layer it, you do as you so choose.
Pennsylvania American Water stepped in, investing millions to upgrade the system and protect the local watershed. Pennsylvania American Water. We keep life flowing.
Overthinking is very on brand.
But that is my version of my window.
Obsessed over deep questions like
Okay.
now or tomorrow. Is that lip
All right. So. Oh, my jeebus. Okay, y'all. I am going to go to the restroom really quickly. Y'all want to take a break here? I'm going to run to the restroom. I am going to mute my mic. I drank a lot of water this morning. I've been staying hydrated, but I'm going to mute my mic and I'll be right back, y'all. Okay, guys, thank you for being patient. I had to use the restroom. All right, and I can't have everybody making fun of me. Have everybody making fun of me for flushing the toilet. All right. Sorry about the notifications, y'all. Okay, so we just did the curtain for the cover. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add our wheels before we do the back side of the front cover. So we're gonna go ahead and add. Okay. So in our green packets, oh, hold on, let me get comfortable here. There we go. Crisscross in the chair. Okay, so in our green packet, there are two bigger brads. I'm gonna pull out the muslin, set that to the side, and I'm gonna pull out the two big brads. Okay, there are two tiny little brads also in that envelope. Set those off to the side. We're going to use those later. But right now we are going to use the big brads. These are the spokes for our wheels. So you're going to eyeball this, okay? So you're going to look. Let me zoom out, y'all. Hold on. Okay, there we go. So we are gonna, it is not a precise science, y'all. Okay, I'm using my grid, okay, on my mat to make sure that I'm straight, okay? And then I would just want to make sure my wheels are even on the bottoms. Okay, so you can use a long ruler to do that. To make sure that they're even. Okay. And that you have enough spacing between the wheels. And again, it's not an exact science. And then you'll take your awl, which is your bookbinding tool, or a needle or something else that you can poke a hole with that is sturdy. Okay. I'm going to go to the center of my wheel and I'm going to poke down and I'm going to pull that, wiggle that wheel. I have a little puncture here in my paper. I'll show you. See the little puncture right there in the wheel, in the cover? Okay, so I know that that's where my wheel is going to sit. And then same thing on the other one. I'm going to go to the center of the wheel and I'm going to poke down till I hit that chipboard. And I'm going to wiggle my wheel so that I can puncture through. Okay. And then also on that side, I made an indentation on where my wheel will sit. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to puncture that hole for both sides till I get through to the other side. Okay. So then I'm going to take my brad. I'm going to go through my wheel. And I'm going to twist it to make sure that I put my awl back in there. Make sure my hole is big enough. because I want the wheel to be able to turn. So I want my brad to be able to spin. Okay. I want my brad to be able to spin in that hole. Okay. Same thing. Spin my brad to make sure the hole is big enough. Okay, so there are my 2 wheels. Okay. Front sides are going to be the vellum part of it, and then the back side is the part that we did not cut the white out. Okay. And then I am going to go ahead and do the same thing where I puncture my hole to make sure that my hole is big enough. Other side. Wiggle it around a little bit if you have to make sure that it's big enough for the wheel to be able to move. And then I'm going to take my wheel, my brad, and I'm going to stick it through the hole to come out the other side. Okay, and then I'm going to splay that open. And then there my wheel is able to move. Okay. Same thing with the other one. I'm going to put that through there as well. The other hole. And then I'm going to open that up. And then there's my other wheel. Okay. So now we can take the wheels back off, and now we can grunge up the outside edges because we can see visibly what is sticking out, because you don't have to grunge up the whole thing. Why would you grunge up something that's behind another wheel, behind the wheel? Because you're not going to see it. So I'm going to take my wheels off, and then I'm going to go ahead and grunge up the exterior of my cover. So in between the wheels, I'm going to do a little bit more grunging between the wheels, because when the wheels are turning, they are throwing up dirt. Okay. So I'm going to go a little heavier between my wheels. Again, I'm going to get more wear on the corners. And around the windows. Again, you can grunge it up as heavy or as little as you want. But this is a dark circus / carnival, so I'm grunging it up. But you do whatever you feel is comfortable for yourself.
Okay, stop right there. Fortunately, that's a hit.
Okay. Now I can go ahead and put my wheel back on. Okay. So there's mine. And again, oops, I missed the middle. That's all right. I'm going to take the wheel off. I was a little off on my middle. It's okay. Okay. There we go. Okay, so let me clear off my desk. All right. So there is our exterior of our cover. And again, you grunge it as heavy as you like. I am going to wash my hands, y'all. Again, got black everywhere. In love with you. All right. Got my hands clean. Okay. Cheers, y'all. I got my orange water. Okay. We are going to set this to the side. We are going to get our back cover that we glued our paper to our chipboard, and we are going to glue down our other piece of paper, which is again the stripes. So I'm going to go ahead again. This is our back piece that we did not cut. And I am going to glue this so I can glue my back. sure my edges match.
Isn't that the picture? You're good, lady.
No, I got it. Seriously, I'm good. I'm Circus. Oh, don't be silly. You don't be silly.
People with the Wells Fargo Active Cash credit card prefer to pay because they earn unlimited 2% cash back on purchases.
Okay, and I make sure I got good glue on my fingers. Make sure I got good contact. Okay, so our back cover is now covered on both sides. Now we can go ahead and grunge up the edges. Okay, I'm gonna grunge up the other side. Okay, there we go. So I grunched up all the edges on both the front and back cover. And now I'm going to set this to the side. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to take that fourth piece of paper that goes on the back side of this. But before we do that, we have our window that we need to take care of, okay? Because the window is not going to be on the other side. So in our packet, in the ephemera, so let me grab that. Okay, so we have this packet of ephemera that had the trapeze artist, which we will be using for the slide. But we need to grab some elements out of here to decorate our background for our window. Okay. Ooh, good song. Everybody got the same exact thing. So let's see. This will be used, this element will also be used for the slider. We can do one of two things. We can use one of the envelopes or a pocket to decorate the inside of that window. Let's see, what do I want to use? I could use that as my background. Let me see. Let me see if it's wide enough. Let me go ahead and cut this piece out. And again, this was in your ephemera packet. See. That works. But do I want to use that, or do I want to use the scrap from the window? Or from the curtains? Because I could use, I do have the background from when we cut out the curtains earlier. I think I'll use this instead. I think I'm going to use this. So what I can do is find like the chair that was in the background picture that I didn't throw away. Remember I said we could use it for another element. You could use that and line that up and use the little chair in there with the wood as your background. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to cut off this part. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and flip this over. I'm going to glue the edge. Just the edge so I can slide it around until I get it to where I want it to fit. There we go. So I can just press that down.
Hourly Amazon employees earn an average of over $22 an hour, with opportunities to grow their career and their paycheck. Learn more at aboutamazon.com.
Ooh, my picture just slid, so let me check it. There we go. All right. I'm happy with that. Okay, now I can go ahead and, oh, I forgot to do this. Now I can take off my wheels. Take off your wheels one more time. I apologize. I forgot to have you guys trace the paper first before we glue it down. Okay, line everything up. Okay, now we're going to trace the outside edge of our paper before we glue it down and make sure that everything lines up. So then we can, actually, we probably want to go this way. So, all right, so I'm going to grab a pencil or a pen, and I am just going to trace along the edge so I know where to cut it out. Okay. And there's my outline. And I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. Okay. Now I can go ahead and glue that down. Oh, I need to put my wheels on first. I need to put my wheels on first, Brina. Okay. Splay those down. Now I can glue the outside edge. Now I can glue my paper to my cover. Okay. that excess glue. Home soon. Okay, so I got a little bit of white sticking out, no big deal. Once this dries, I will go ahead and cut that off and then grunge it up. So it's not a big deal. Okay. All right, we're gonna go ahead and set this to the side while that dries. And again, the two brads that are in there, just stick those on there. And we'll come back to this while that finishes drying. We'll set this with the back one. Okay, with our back cover. And then we also have our dotted paper. We're gonna set this all to the side. All right. Let me clean off my hands, get the glue off. All right. Okay, so we are going to need, let me put my ephemera back in its bag. Okay, so out of this paper, this ephemera paper pack, y'all, let me see, we are going to be using for the slider to make sure that you don't use it in your book. There are some elements that we will need for our slider that I don't want you to use for your book. This is one of them. So we are going to take this. I'm going to cut this out so that I don't use it in my book. I'm going to take this piece. So y'all, if you have cut out your ephemera, find this exact piece because this we're going to put in our slider packet. And this piece with the aerialist, we are also going to take that and we are going to use that for our slider. So these two pieces here, if you already have them cut out, take these two pieces and find your slider folder. Where is it? Find your folder that says, the bag that says slider. Take these two elements and put them inside that bag so that we don't use it in our book. Okay? Very, very, very important. Otherwise, you won't be able to complete the slider. Come on, open up bag. So again, in your thing of ephemera, you're going to find these two pieces and you are going to put these in your slider bag. Okay? Because you will need those to complete that item. And this will be a separate video. Okay, and then you'll take that and set it off to the side. Okay. Let me put this all back in the bag. So I don't lose anything. So we will need this bag that has the mulberry paper, the bubble paper, the card. We also need our signature papers and our other papers. That's what we're going to need. So you will need these 3 packages. So find your package that has the bubble paper. Find the package that has your signatures and your other and the other paper. There may be a different paper on the outside because as I was printing them, I was putting them in bags, so they may not look exactly like this, but they are like 2 images and then your filler papers. Okay. Ugh. Okay. For we are, where is it? Hold on, y'all. Because I just thought of this. The pop-up page. Okay. Also, shoot, hold on, y'all, because there's the pop-up page, the 3D page, that I started doing a video for last night. We need to add that to this. So hold on. Let me grab the paper. Okay, the bag that is marked 3D page 1, grab that paper pack. And you want to grab this piece of paper. Grab this piece of paper out of your 3D page 1 packet. You only need just this paper, okay? Because we have to add this page to our signatures. Otherwise, it won't get included. So thank God I thought about that. Okay, 3D page 1. It is this page. Grab that out of your paper pack. Put the rest of it back in your paper pack so you know what it is. You only need just this page, okay? I need to print the back side because I effed up last night when I was doing the live. And so I had to reprint a new page. So give me a second. Let me print this off real quick. Sorry, y'all. Come on. There we go. So number 2. Print to print. Okay, give me a second. Ugh. Okay, so while that is printing, let me grab another drink of water, y'all. Okay. Let me put this stuff back in my envelope for the 3D page. Okay. It's almost done printing. Sorry, y'all. I forgot that I did that last night. I started videoing the tutorial and I messed up. Otherwise, I would have already had it, but I didn't. Okay, hold on. Ugh. Okay. Oh, there's the paper. All right. Let me drop you guys down. So this piece of paper came out of our 3D page number 1. This has to be a center of a signature because this is going to be a 3D pop-up. All right. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get comfortable. Ugh. Okay. All right. So we have our single page out of the 3D page 1. We can go ahead and open our signatures. I'm going to take those out. Our filler papers. Okay. This will be a signature. And then our fillers. Okay, so everybody got a 12 by 12 square of bubble paper. Everybody got a card. The image may appear differently on the card. And then you also got an envelope. Okay, everybody got 2 bags. 2 brown paper bags. Everybody got 1 piece of mulberry paper. Okay. I'm going to set that off to the side. And then we all got our filler papers with journaling lines. Some of them have journaling lines, some of them don't. Okay. And then we have our signature papers. These are all double-sided, y'all. Okay, there's no single-sided. All right, let me put you guys back up. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I gotta have a couple pretzels. My belly is grumbling. I did not bring up any snicky snacks except my pretzels. They are bold and zesty. Oh my God. Pub style. They're really good. So I'm going to start with my signatures. And I'm going to fold those in half. Fold them in any direction you want. So this definitely has to be a center signature. Okay. And then we have, let's see, I'll use that as a second. I'll use that as a third. Fourth. And I'll use a different page for a center. I'm gonna actually do a tall. I'll use this as my fifth. Okay, that'll be my fifth signature in my center. Okay. I know it has journal lines on it, but it doesn't matter because I can put ephemera on it. So use whatever you so choose. So these are my 5 signatures. As you've seen on your cover paper, you had this is your guide to puncture your holes in the center of your signatures. And there are 5 signature holes. Okay, so we are doing 5 signatures. Now, 2 of the signatures are going to be a little thicker than the others because of the elements that we're adding to those pages. So we're not adding as many papers to 2 of those signatures that we are in the other 3. Okay. So, this page is getting a 3D element, which will be in a separate video that you can look. I'll have it posted today or tomorrow. I did 2 of them already, but there are a couple others that we're going to use elements. So make sure you guys watch those just to be in the safe side before you start adding elements to your papers, so that you can see if there's something you want to do them or not do them, if they look too complicated or whatever you need clarification. Just reach out to me and ask. But watch those other videos before you start adding embellishments. So that way there you know that if there's anything in the embellishments or the ephemera that you need for other parts of the kits to do the 3Ds and stuff like that. So I tried to break everything out as much as possible, but I didn't want to cut up everybody's ephemera because that would have just taken up too much time. I broke it down to the point where you guys can very easily find things. Just make sure that you guys watch the other videos in case before you start putting ephemera inside your books, to make sure you don't need any elements for other parts of the book. Okay. So this is definitely going to be a center signature. This is going to be a thick one because this is going to have a 3D element on it, where you open the page and then stuff is going to come flying up. So this has to be a center. So we are going to put this as a center of one of your signatures. Okay. All right. So let me grab these are definitely my signatures. I'm going to paper clip these so I don't use them for anything else. So these are my 5 signatures. I'm going to use a tall and skinny. I just folded a piece of paper out of the other pack and I folded it to make it tall as a signature. I should probably actually do 2 of them, but I'll leave it the way it is. I'm okay with it. So I don't use these for anything else. I'm going to paper clip these together. I'm going to stick this to the side. Okay, so I have 3 more of the shorts. And then I have a bunch of papers here that I can decide if I want to use it short or if I want to use it tall. However, this one has the white lines on the outside that we're going to cut off. So let me grab my cutter. Now at this point, if you guys want to add coffee paper, if you guys want to add something else to it, you can. You don't have to. I sent you plenty of paper to be able to use in the book, but if you want to add some other like coffee stained paper, anything like that, you're more than welcome to. There is enough room to be able to do that. The rest of them are fine. Okay. So for this one, I am actually going to tear this in half. I'm going to fold it in half first. But I am going to tear it in half. Okay, so then I got 2 of those. All right, I'm going to set these to the side as well. And there is a lot of journaling pages, and then there's papers on some of the other sides. So the pages that have the full images, I'm going to set those off to the side for right now. That I'm going to use as a towel. That I'm going to use as a towel. That I'm going to use as a towel. And there's our journaling pages. Okay, so the pictures that are on the back of the journaling lines, I'm going to set those to the side. I'm going to take my papers that have just the journaling lines on them on both sides. Now, they are different paperweights, y'all. Some of these are on 28-pound cardstock. Some of it's on 60 and some of it's on 80. So they are supposed to be like that. I did not run out of paper and I wasn't trying to be cheap. You can't have a full book full of 80-pound cardstock because it doesn't work like that. You won't be able to add a bunch of ephemera. You won't be able to add anything else to it if you want to. So they have to be different paperweights. You can't do a whole entire book with just the same paperweight. It doesn't work like that. If that's what you choose to do, that's on you. But I don't do it that way because I like adding other elements. I like adding lace. I like adding material. I like adding other thicker elements. Gauze, whatever. But you can't do that with if it's all the same paperweight. Then that's how you end up with a gator mouth book where it's exploding like it's throwing up. We don't like that. We want it nice and clean. All right. I am going to fold my journal lines. Okay. So we have all of our journal lined paper folded. I am going to take my bone folder and press that all down so it's nice and flat. Okay, so there is all of my journal pages. Okay. And then we have my picture pages. And now I am going to use the pages that have journal lines on the back, but they have a larger image on the front. I am actually going to make those talls because I like to layer. Okay, and then our double pages, I'm going to fold those in half. And actually, I think I want to use the line as a center signature. So I'm going to grab my signatures here and I'm going to look at what I have. And I think I'm going to replace the clown and I'm going to put the lion instead. So I can put that in here. And then I have the elephant. Do I want to use that as a center? Or am I happy with everything? Yeah, we'll take the clown, we'll take the other clown out and I'll do the elephant as my other center. Okay, so that is going to go in my signature pile. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to put this back together and I'm going to go ahead and clip it and sit it to the side. And these are our filler papers. Okay. I make sure everything is facing the correct way and make sure everything is nice and flat. Okay, they're all outside. Outside. And outside. And then my towels. Okay. Let me move this out of the way. All right, so these are our filler papers and we have our signatures in a paper clip and we're going to grab the centers.
Your girl, maybe? People with the Wells Fargo Active Cash credit
This paper is going to be our center because this is going to have one of the 3D pop-up elements. So we're going to grab that one first,
the Wells Fargo Active
paper clip the rest of it together,
Fargo.com
and set it off to the side. We're going to work on one. So I have 3 talls. And again, you don't have to do tall pages. You can do it however you so choose, but I chose to do 3 talls. So the 28-pound cardstock, you can feel the difference. Take the 28-pound cardstock and put that in one pile. That is all of these papers that are double-sided that look like this. They're journaling lines. Okay. And then our 60-pound. And then our 80-pound. This is all 80. Okay. You can definitely feel the weight difference, y'all. Okay. So I know that I have to start with this as my center. So because we're doing 5 signatures, I'm going to break this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5. So I am going to take one of those pages, and then I have an extra 3. Okay. So I'm going to take an extra one and add it into here. And I'm going to set these off to the side so I don't use more than I need. I want a tall element, so I'm going to pick one of these papers. I'm going to go with this one. Set the rest of that off to the side. And again, we have 5 signatures. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sheets that are 60-pound. I'm going to pick one of those papers and add that to there. Put the rest of them to the side. I have my center, and then I want to pick another one of these. Let's go with that one. And then the rest of these are going to sit to the side. Okay. And then I have the 2 half pages. I could do one in the front. And then I could use the other part for the back side. So I'm going to towards the back. So I'm going to set that to the side. And then I have my bubble paper. I am actually going to cut this into 4s, just like it was folded. Okay, I'm going to take only one of those and use it for that signature. The other 3, I'm going to sit to the side. And then you can decide if you want to use your card and the white envelope or a brown bag. I'm going to use a brown bag. I'm going to sit the rest of it to the side. And if you want to use any piece of the mulberry paper, I had, oops. Oh my goodness, hold on. Ugh. Okay. I had to pick up my ruler. So I have this piece of vellum from when I cut out the wheels. I'm going to add this to this because it was a scrap that I'm going to utilize as much as I can. Okay. So I'm not going to use any mulberry paper in this signature. I am just going to use this, but I do have some scraps laying around, so that I'm going to throw in some scrap papers. I have, well, they're not really scraps, but I would like to add a piece of coffee dyed paper. And again, if you don't have to, if you don't want to, but if you have scraps that you're wanting to use that would go great with this book, you're welcome to do it. I grabbed actually 2 pieces of coffee paper. But like I said, there is, I promise you, there's plenty. But you can add. So I'm gonna make one a tall, and I'm gonna make one a short. Okay. So technically, I'm only adding 2 pieces of paper and a piece of vellum. The vellum was a scrap from our wheels. Okay. Ugh. All right. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pieces of paper. So that's 24 pages in a signature. 12 times 2 is 24. So one signature, 24 pages. Again, this has to be our center because this will be a pop-up. So I'm going to start with my outside and work my way in. Okay. I'm going to start with my smallest piece first. And again, grunge it up, do whatever you want. We're going to start building our signature.
People talk about trail system, but how do you really blaze a trail? With all-terrain tires, tubular roof rack, lifted suspension, and rugged build, trails adventure. This is the off-road you
going to use that as a little tuck. I'm flattening out my circles. And then my center signature. Okay. And so I am going to clip this. That is one signature. Okay. That's still chunky. Still chunky. All right. And like I said, so you go adding ephemera and lace and all that kind. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put that on the bottom. All that kind of stuff. It's all going to come together. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add that to the bottom. Okay. All right. So that is one signature. I'm going to take this and I'm going to set this off to the side. There we go. There we go. All right. Sorry, y'all. Cheers. Okay. So now we're going to do the next signature. So we have our stack here that is paper clipped. So for our center, I'm going to pick another center. I think I'm going to go with the lion for my center for our second signature. I'm going to clip the rest of these together. Put those to the side. So the lion will be my second signature. Okay. So I'm not going to use this because I used it in the first signature. but these are my other papers. So I have the heavier weight. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 more, which I have already used one of the first signatures. So I'm gonna pick another one. Let's go with that's what I want. I'll go with that one. This one. Yep, we'll go with this one. That's the 80-pound cardstock. Okay. And then for the 60-pound cardstock, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sheets left. So I am going to add, because we have 4 more signatures to do, right? 3 after this one. So I'm going to go with a decorative piece, and then I'm going to go with a lined piece for this one, and I'm going to set the rest of this to the side. And then I am not going to, do I want to do a tall on the hard stuff or no? Actually, I think I will go with the striped. Okay, set the other one to the side. And then I need 2 of those of the 28-pound cardstock. And then I am going to definitely use mulberry paper on this signature. So I am going to cut this in half. Okay. Oops. Okay, I'm going to use a piece of that, and the rest of this I am going to put to the side because I'm not going to use any of this. I'm going to set this to the side. All right, so let's start building our second. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 14, 15, 16. I'm going to grab 2 more pieces of coffee paper. There's no number of pages that you have to have per signature, y'all. There's no, I just don't, I know that I don't want to go above a certain amount only because of the thickness. This section will not have a 3D element. It'll have a flip up and stuff, but not, that's it. All right, so I am going to use 2 more sheets of coffee paper. So, and again, you could use scraps. You can use whatever if you want to add some elements to it. I'm going to do again 1 tall and 1 narrow. Okay. So my center of this one is going to be the lion. So I want to, let's see. The outside. I think I'll start with this on the outside. And I am going to actually Okay, there's my second. Now some of this will have to be torn off because it is, if you look at our cover, hold on, I'll show you. So if you look at our whitest part of the book, I don't have to really tear anything off, but you want to make sure that your papers, when you're staggering them, don't go above the width of your book. Otherwise, it's going to stick above, and then the papers are going to get destroyed as they're being used. But I always double check to make sure I'm not too long. But so this is my next signature. So I'm going to put this off to the side with the first. So here's my first signature. Here's my second signature. Let's work on the third. Sorry, y'all. I'm eating pretzels. I'm going to use this as my third center. And then I'm going to take these, I'm going to clip these together. I'm only going to use one of these. I'm not going to use it all. One, two, I'm going to use the card. I'm going to use bubble paper. And I'm going to use the other piece of short paper. And the rest of this I'm going to set to the side. Okay. I'm going to grab one sheet of copy paper for this section. And this is my center.
Most unbeatable flavor starts with the right sauce. It's ready to create flavors yet. So anytime you peel back the shell of mechanic herbs and spices, you can be confident you will taste the same amount of flavor as the candy whiskey. Flavor that brings out the best of your favorite recipes. Don't keep everyone coming back. Or maybe even
Okay, this is a torn off piece that I had from my previous signature. I'm going to add that in here. Okay. There's my third. It's my third signature. Okay. This one will be my fourth, and then that will be my last. This will be my last signature. Okay. That is my fourth. And let's do the last. Okay, that'll be my center. I'm going to cover this up later with some ephemera, so I'm not worried about the envelope being white. has scrap from the previous signature. Okay, I do want to add one piece of coffee paper. This is very thin coffee paper. Okay, and there is our 5th signature. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So there's our 5 signatures. Y'all, listen, I apologize. My head is pounding right now. So I am going to leave this here. I'm going to end my live. I apologize. I will pick this up. I need to lay down. I'm going to pick this up and I won't come back live, but I'll start a video as part number 2. I'll leave everything just as it is so that you guys will know where I left off. But y'all, I'm sorry. My head is throbbing right now. So I am going to go lay down. But thank you guys for being patient with me. I apologize. I'm still not 100%, y'all. And I apologize again, too, about the TikTok because I was not able to go live. I don't know what was going on. It said I didn't have access to my camera, blah, blah, blah. I checked for updates on my phone, everything else, it didn't work. But anyway, so it is what it is. But thank you guys. I love you. Thank you for hanging out with me. I will come back, like I said, but I won't be live. I'll just do a video to finish off the book. I apologize, but my head is throbbing right now. So I really need to go lay down and get out of these bright lights. But we have our 5 signatures put together. We have our cover. We have our back cover. So when I pick back up on the video, it'll start from right where we are right now as a part 2 to this workshop. Again, thank you guys for being understanding. I appreciate it. I love y'all. You guys have a good one, and I'll see y'all again soon. Thank you. Oops. Now you guys are just gonna stare at the bright lights and my head. Hold on.